I want to feel something this month, basically. Hello my friends, welcome back to the best video that I put out every single month, at least my favorite to film, and it seems like your guys' favorite to watch, and that is where I blindly pick out my TBR. I say this every month is going faster and faster. I can't believe that it's already November, but I am so excited to go into a new month and kind of change the pace a little bit, the genre I've been reading. For some reason, for this month, I'm feeling like I want to read very emotional reads. I really want to connect with the characters, whether that's sad and heartbreaking or whether it's just like a character study. It's really well fleshed out. I want to feel something this month, basically, and I'm hoping that I get that through my choices. I have brought back my trusty TBR cart this month, and I have only put books on this cart which I really feel like I'm in the mood for, which I really feel like go with the theme of where I'm trying to go with my reads this month. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different this month. I really wanted to make sure that I got quite a good variety this month. I feel like in the past, blind picking my TBR, it's very heavy in one genre, and so just to tweak that a little bit, I've kept it pretty even with the amount of books that I have on here. And I also have my books separated just a little bit. The first 7 are either general or literary fiction. The next 6 are romance, and the next 6 are either like romance or classics, and then the ones on this shelf are fantasy or magical realism. I think there's even one sci-fi. I am of course going to still use my TBR wheel, and as we go, if I feel like we're picking too much of one genre, then I will just eliminate those because I do want to set myself up for success. I feel like with October's TBR, I didn't do that, and that's probably why I ended up straying from it so much, because I am at my core a mood reader, and I think it's just better to have a good balance if you are someone who likes to read based off of mood. I think I'm going to pick either 6 or 7 books this month to leave plenty of room for mood reading. I do read probably an average of like 15 to 17 books a month, and that allows me to really just go where my heart is feeling. But I do feel like it's good to pick a TBR and to have that ready to go, and normally these are the books that I will try to film reading vlogs for, so you guys can read along with me if you want. So we're going to pick those 6 to 7 reads off of my TBR, and then at the end we will spin my Kindle Unlimited wheel for 2 more picks that won't necessarily be on my strict TBR, but they will just be 2 additional picks in case I want to pick up a Kindle Unlimited read, and that will just help me to get more use out of my subscription because I do pay $9.99 a month and I want to make sure that I'm actually using it. Without further ado, since I've been yapping for a few minutes, let's go ahead and get started with our first pick. Okay, so our first pick is going to be pick number 7. Number 7 is going to be, hopefully this is right side up for you guys. Show you guys first. Paper's kind of tough to open, actually. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Okay, I'm actually really excited about this because, again, I've been wanting more emotional, like, character study, maybe with a romance subplot, something that just really makes me feel. I've heard such amazing things about this show, and I knew that I was not going to start the show until I read the book, so I'm really excited about this. I also feel like it's going to be a good one because it only has about 273 pages, so this would be a really good like weekend read or even a binge read in one sitting. So I'm super excited about this. I actually got this at a thrift store for like $1, and I don't know much about what it's about. I do think it's like 2 people, it's right person, wrong time, but it says Connell and Marianne grew up in the same town, but the similarities end there. At school, Connell is popular and well-liked while Marianne is a loner, but when the 2 strike up a conversation, awkward but electrifying, something life-changing begins. Normal People is the story of mutual fascination, friendship, and love. It takes us from that first conversation to the years beyond in the company of 2 people who try to stay apart but find that they can't. Okay, I'm so excited. I actually just recently read When Harry Met Sally for the first time this fall. I know, I can't believe it. I've been really trying to lean into the fall notes, and this is kind of sounding like that, like just 2 people that meet in the beginning of the story and then just kind of have different instances throughout the next 10 years where they continue to show up in each other's lives. So I'm very intrigued. I do think this is going to break my heart. At least that's what I've heard about it. So I'm excited to see where we go from there. I'm going to take a little dirty soda sip break. I was originally going to make a little matcha, but for some reason I was feeling this instead. For those of you who are new to dirty sodas, this is just Coke Zero, and it's got coconut coffee creamer and a little bit of lime. Mine did break because if you add any coffee creamer after the lime, it does break a little bit, but it still tastes great. My feet are falling asleep. Okay, we've shifted position a little bit here so that my foot doesn't fall asleep, and let's go with our next pick. It's time for pick number 2. Pick number 2 is going to be book number 16. Let's see here. Ooh, this is like a thin one. Interesting. Okay, open it. Hopefully it'll be front facing for you guys. Okay, this is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and this is so funny. I'm sensing a little bit of a theme. This is also a show that I have been wanting to watch. This is a sci-fi, and I've heard incredible things about it. I've actually seen a lot of people reading it lately, which is so funny because about 2 months ago, for my birthday, I thrifted this at a library sale, and I've been excited to read it ever since. I'm not much of a sci-fi girl, but again, I've heard incredible things, and it's a fairly short read as well, so I feel like it would be a good one to do this November. Also, coincidentally, my favorite bookstore is featuring this book as their book club pick for November in one of their book clubs. So if I read this, then I can go. Anyways, this is supposed to be like a sci-fi thriller, and it is about a man who is kidnapped and he's knocked unconscious, and when he wakes up, his life is completely different. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. Is it this life or the other that's the dream? And even if the home he remembers is real, how will Jason make it back to the family he loves? Dark Matter is a mind-bending thriller about choices, paths not taken, and how far it will go to claim the lives we dream of. Okay, this makes me so excited. I know Sarah Caroli recently read this, and I want to say that Jamie Folk also recently read this, and so when they were talking about it, both of them, it just really piqued my interest and made me want to pick it up. So this is really exciting that this is the second book on our November TBR. Okay, this is actually going so well, and my feet are asleep again. I really need to figure out like how to get a little, almost like a beanbag situation where I can sit on something and not die. I've made myself a little chair out of some pillows so that my knees will not continue to absolutely die and my feet won't fall asleep. So hopefully that'll work. It is time to pick our third book, and that is going to be pick number 14. Okay, number 14 is going to be right here. Let's see. This is going to be the front of it. Feels like a hardcover. And it is going to be A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Okay, I have said in multiple videos, and most recently my video where I go through my entire TBR, that this has always felt like a November read to me. I don't care what anybody else says. First of all, Dark Academia is for the fall, and this is a Dark Academia fantasy. And I feel like, for some reason, I don't know why, I think just the tones of this has absolutely screamed November to me, so I'm so excited about this. I believe this is a rivals to lovers as well, potentially. In this one, our female main character, her name is Effie, and she has this favorite book, which is an epic that I think is like a fairy tale, like it has different creatures in it. And she gets a chance to go to the estate of the person who wrote this book, the author of that book. And while she is there, she stumbles upon Preston Hellery, a scholar from the Literature College. He's come to this manor determined to prove Effie's favorite author is a fraud, and her only hope of proving him wrong is to conspire with him. This book is supposed to be very atmospheric. I know that the manor that they go to is just like crumbling on the edge of an ocean. I think it's very stormy weather. Honestly, it's perfect November vibes. Would be perfect for like a cold, wet, rainy day that's still fall time. Actually, a day like today, which is why there's not very much lighting in here. I'm having to use my lights because it's so dark and gloomy outside. But I digress. I've been really excited to read this ever since I bought this edition earlier this year. So the third book on our November TBR is going to be A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. All right, let's see what our next pick is going to be. Pick number 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what this book is going to be. I believe this is a literary fiction, and we'll see. I knew I was gonna get this book, guys. I knew it. Literally, as soon as I put this on my TBR, I knew that I was gonna pick it for some reason. I actually had some feelings of like maybe not putting it on this TBR cart because I'm like, no, I know I'm gonna have to read it if I put it on here. I just knew that I was gonna pick it. Honestly, it's good news because this is probably the most talked about book that is on my TBR. It is one that's raved about. A lot of people say this is a 6-star read for them, and it's also blurbed by one of my favorite authors, Kristen Hanna. I own a lot of her other books because I do feel like she's gonna be a favorite author of mine. I really like the way that she writes, but for some reason, all of the hype surrounding this book has kind of put me off of it, to be honest, and I don't know why. I just need to figure it out for myself if it's gonna be for me. I feel like once I read it, I'm gonna end up loving it. I just wanna know if it's as life-changing as everybody says. All I know about this book is that it is about the space program back in 19 something. And we're having our female main character who wants to be, I think it's the first female accepted into the space program. I know it's a love story. I know it's heartbreaking and you're supposed to feel a lot of things. So I am very excited to read this book. I'm also a little nervous because I've seen a lot of people like sob while they read this, but I've been thinking about filming a vlog where I just read sad books for a week, like a little sad girl autumn vlog. If you'd be interested in seeing that, let me know. But we are going to tackle Atmosphere this month, and honestly, it's about time. So book number 4 on our November TBR is going to be Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm terrified. Let us see what the next book on our TBR is going to be, and let's spin. Pick number 4. I feel like it's a hardcover. Another literary fiction, okay? So this is gonna be our probably last literary or general fiction pick. We'll see how the rest of it goes and how we're feeling. But let's see what it is without further ado. It's going to be The Names by Florence Knapp. I did not see that coming. Okay, I don't know what I thought this book was, but I'm very excited. So I know this book really explores the question of just kind of almost nature versus nurture, or can a name really impact someone's life? I know it's about a mother who is taking her second child, a son, to go register his name, and her husband is a very prominent person in the community, but I believe he's also abusive. As she's going to register her name, the timeline then splits in 3 different spots, and it follows this child's life if she names him after her husband, this baby's father, and also I believe the last one is if she picks the name that her 9-year-old daughter chooses for the baby. That is so interesting to me, and I love, love, love books about mothers and children and just family dynamics. So I've been really excited ever since I found this book at a library sale to read it. I think this book is going to be very emotional. I'm just really excited to get into it. So book number 5 is going to be The Names by Florence Knapp. Okay guys, this is going to be a really good month. I just have a feeling that it is going to be. We really need to get some romance on here, so let's see where it goes from there. But let's spin for our next one. Book number 13. Let's see, finally, Ask and We Shall Receive. This is going to be either like a romance or a classic. So, and let's see what book this is. I think I have a feeling I know. Oh, it's upside down. Yes, I know what this is, and this is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I'm so excited about this book. If you've been here before, you know that my favorite show of all time is North and South. I love this show. I just rewatch it every single year. I think it's the perfect fall/winter time read, and I did not know until this year, and this is so dumb of me, that this was based off of a book. And so for my birthday, I ended up buying the book, and I've really been wanting to read it. My favorite movie of all time is Pride and Prejudice, and I recently read that book this year, and I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. I listened to it on audio actually, and I just had a great time with it, and ever since then, I've been wanting to read more classics from movies or shows that I love. And so I'm really excited to read this one. This is honestly very Pride and Prejudice-esque. If you like the story of Pride and Prejudice, if you like either the movie or the show, or you love the book, this could be a good one. I would say this one's a little bit darker in the sense that this takes place during the Industrial Revolution. Our female main character, Margaret's family, moves from a beautiful countryside to a dirty, dusty industrial city, and they move because her father was a pastor and he's having a bit of a crisis of faith, and he can't in good conscience continue to be a pastor while he's having this specific crisis of faith. So she's uprooted and taken to the city, where her dad ends up tutoring a very prominent man in the city who owns a cotton mill, and his name is Henry Thornton. Margaret and Henry have a horrible first interaction, and she just thinks he is very hard, that he is unfeeling, that he does not care about anybody around him, because that's her first impression. And there is so much more to Henry than that, but she cannot see it. And Henry also has his own opinions that need to be changed. Now, is that sounding like a certain Elizabeth and Darcy to anybody? I love this story. I'm so excited to get into it this fall. And so the 6th book on my November TBR is going to be North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I always get to this point where I say I'm gonna stop picking books, and I'm just like, I can do another one. So let's go ahead and pick another one. I don't know if I'm feeling another fantasy for some reason. I think because I've hit fantasy so hard in October and September, I don't think I'm feeling another fantasy. But we haven't picked any of my fall romances, but I do feel like I have a lot of fall romance options on Kindle Unlimited that could be picked. So I'm kind of in between picking another literary fiction. Maybe we should just let the wheel tell us what we need to read, right? Shall we? All right, for our 7th and final pick, number 3. Okay, number 3. I am a little bit nervous about this one. Looks like it's backward, but I'm nervous. So here we go. You guys, I'm so excited for this pick. If I am being honest, the one book that I really wanted to pick for the month of November is this book, Slanting Towards the Sea by Lydia Hill. I'm not quite sure how to say her name, but this book was recently put on my radar by another booktuber who read it and ended up rating it 5 stars. I know this is a debut novel, and this is my most recent purchase, and I've only been buying secondhand for like the last month, but I actually bought this one full price because I've been so excited about it. From what I've heard about this is like a literary fiction, but also a love story, which I'm really grateful that I picked this one because I didn't get a ton of romance on my TBR, and so I'm grateful for that. I feel like the best thing would be for me to just read summary to you guys, because as I heard Sarah Caroli talking about this, I was just so drawn in. And yeah, so let me just read the summary. Ivana divorced the love of her life, Vlaho, a decade ago. They met as students at the turn of the millennium when newly democratic Croatia was alive with promise. But the challenges of living in a burgeoning country extinguished Ivana's dreams one after another, and a devastating secret forced her to set him free. Now Vlaho is remarried and a proud father of 2, while Ivana's life has taken a downward turn. Bewildered by life's disappointments, she finds solace in reconnecting with Vlaho. God, that name is really, I'm struggling. Vlaho, and is welcomed into his family by his spirited wife, Marina. But when a new man enters Ivana's life, the carefully cultivated dynamic between the 3 is disrupted, forcing a reckoning for all involved. Set against the mesmerizing Croatian coastline, Slanting Towards the Sea is a cinematic, emotionally searing debut about the fragile nature of potential and the transcendence of love. And I cannot wait to get into it. I've just heard such amazing things about this being just like a beautiful, incredible love story. It's like a second chance romance, but it's also a character study, and I'm so excited about it. I'm also excited because something about me is like a little trope I really enjoy is when people who were either in a previous committed relationship come back to each other, specifically if they were married. I absolutely love that, whether that's within the marriage or they've gotten divorced and they find each other again. I just love reading about that. I think I've been married for so long at this point. I say so long, but it's only been 8 years, but it feels like that. I feel like I've seen me as an individual and my husband as an individual grow and just develop into different people than we were when we met each other. And obviously, like, for us, we've grown together and we have learned to love each other where we're at now, as well as we did when we were just little baby kids. But as somebody who's had that experience of now for 8 years, I can see how hard marriage can be and how it can do one of two things: tear each other apart or make you closer. And I just love, reading about the dynamics of marriage. I love it. And I feel like not a lot of love stories talk about that. So anyways, I am yapping a lot, but I'm really excited for this book. And this is going to be the 7th and final book on our November TBR. Now it is time to spin for our 2 Kindle Unlimited reads, and then we will do a quick recap on what is going to be on our November TBR. So for the month of November, I created a wheel full of just different picks that I really thought I might be interested in that are available on Kindle Unlimited. A lot of the ones on here are actually different types of romances, whether they're seasonal, whether they're emotional romances. I think there's still one emotional literary fiction on here, but I'm really excited to pick 2 picks and see if I get to them. And again, these are not going to be like I have to read them this month, but they'll just be extra picks to encourage me to go to Kindle Unlimited as a second option to my first priority, which is my physical November TBR. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick 2, and our first one's going to be Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. Okay, this is great news because this book, as well as 1 or 2 other books that are actually already on my November TBR, is a book that is on my 10 before the end, so 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. If you haven't seen that video, you can definitely go back and watch that here. But I added this book to my TBR because as I read the first installment in this series, it's like interconnected standalones. I think the series is just called Spoons. And the first book I enjoyed, but while I was reading the first book, I was really more intrigued about the 2 characters that are featured as the main characters in this novel. Like I talked about in Slanting Towards the Sea, I love reading about either 2 characters that have been married at some point or are currently married, and in this book, this is a divorced couple that we are following. They got married young and they raised like an amazing kid together, and now that their kid, I believe, is going off to college, the male main character is trying to convince the female main character to give their relationship another shot, and I just fell in love with these characters and savor it, and I cannot wait to see how their storyline plays out. I'm so excited about it. So I'm super excited to have this as like a maybe for books to read in November. Knowing myself, I'm definitely gonna read it. But let's pick our next and last option from Kindle Unlimited. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. Actually, this is a really good pick because that's one of the picks that I did wrap up. It is a seasonal romance, and I did read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which I also have a physical copy of, in the month of October. I had a good time. These books are definitely not 5-star reads for me, but I do have a good time. And the thing about me is if we're in a specific season, I do want to read all of the seasonal romances within the first season that I've bought them. I bought those, I think, at the beginning of September, and I don't want to have to wait a whole year before I read that next book. So this is going to be a great pick for me. I know it's going to be a small town romance, and I already have been introduced to the characters in this one, and I'm excited about it. So not much to say there, but that's going to be the second Kindle Unlimited option. Now it's time to rearrange the cart a little bit, and we'll just go over one more time the books that I'm going to be reading in November. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be a good one. First book on my November TBR is a literary fiction, and it's Normal People by Sally Rooney. The second book is a sci-fi, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. The third book is a fantasy, A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. The fourth book is a historical fiction, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The fifth book is another literary fiction, The Names by Florence Knapp. The sixth book is a classic, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. And book number 7 is a literary fiction, and it is Slanting Towards the Sea by Lydia Hillier. Still not sure how I say that. And our 2 Kindle Unlimited book picks are going to be Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. That is going to wrap up November for me. It's very interesting that I am making such a big genre shift this month. I think because I've been hitting fantasy so hard, I've been wanting to feel something a little bit different, so I'm really, really excited. I will most likely be back to my normal romantasy fantasy programming next month, but we'll see. I'm kind of trying to figure out really what my genre is. I haven't had a 5-star read in quite a while. I think I only had like 1 or 2 5-star reads this month, and for reading like 15 to 17 books a month, that's not quite a bit. So I'm trying to shift and see if I pick different books, maybe eventually I can predict more 5 stars, which is why we read, right? We want to read books that we absolutely love and are obsessed with. Before I go, I'm going to add some books on the screen that are also on my radar to read for November. Please let me know if you would like to see a reading vlog of any of these books or the ones on my November TBR. If you've made it to the end of this video, please leave me a fall leaf emoji. I am so glad that you guys are here. If you've liked this video, please consider staying a while, and I will see you guys hopefully in my next video. Bye!